Well, hi everybody. My name is Clay Fisher. I'm here to talk about deliberation without attention effect and customer satisfaction and their impact on the marketing decisions that firms are making. So the deliberation without attention effect is a hypothesized phenomenon developed and tested by Dijksterhuis et al., whereby simple choices, meaning those with few options and few relevant differentiating characteristics, are best made, meaning the right choice is chosen, and are most satisfactory, meaning more post-choice satisfaction is enjoyed, when conscious thought is applied. Whereas complex choices, those with many options and relevant differentiating characteristics, are best made and most satisfactory when unconscious thought is allowed to do the work. So that's a lot to take in, so let's unpack some of those concepts. For one, conscious thought versus unconscious thought. Conscious thought refers to thought or deliberation while conscious attention is directed at the problem at hand, whereas unconscious thought can be defined as thought or deliberation in the absence of conscious attention being directed to the problem. So, for instance, comparing the nutrition facts of two competing peanut butter brands in the aisle at the grocery store based on, say, how much protein and how many carbs each one contains. That's conscious thought. You're standing there. It's what is occupying your mind. You're focusing on that one thing. Unconscious thought, on the other hand, setting aside a new car decision for 48 hours after taking in a whole lot of information about it until suddenly it's got to be the Kia pops into your head. Another part of that definition is simple choices versus complex choices. Simple choices are those that have relatively few choice options and relatively few differentiating factors. For instance, the two types of peanut butter, I know that I want Jif. All I really care about is the protein versus the carbs. Complex choices involve many different options and many differentiating factors. So there are a lot of cars on that lot that are in the $25,000 to $30,000 price range. And I care about all kinds of things when it comes to my next car. I care about gas mileage, cloth versus leather seating, the quality of the sound system and the hands-free controls, and I care about my friends' conflicting recommendations. So there's a whole lot going on. It's a very complex choice. The best choice and the most satisfactory choice are pretty simple. The best choice is just the one that best meets the factors that I'm considering weighted for their importance. The most satisfactory choice is the one about which the customer feels the most satisfaction after having made it. So I think it kind of goes without saying that customer satisfaction is pretty important. Firms have an incentive to affect the circumstances of their customers' purchasing decisions in a way that maximizes their post-choice satisfaction, because a satisfying experience leads to a positive image of the product and the company that made it. Research suggests that customer satisfaction is an important source of competitive advantage, leading to customer loyalty and thus decreased transaction costs from exchanges and returns, and also reduced price elasticity. A really good example of that is Apple. You can see people lining up around the Apple store to try to get in to pay for a $1,000 smartphone. So that price elasticity, part of that loyalty, means that as the prices go up, the demand basically stays the same. People will pay whatever Apple's charging. Also, the more intense a customer's feelings about a product are, the more likely they are to share their feelings with others, and that applies both at the extreme negative and positive ends of the spectrum. Research indicates that a U-shaped curve of the likelihood of sharing via word of mouth based on satisfaction. Finally, when a customer is satisfied with a company's products, they tend to encourage others to do business with them. This is so pronounced, in effect, that word-of-mouth communication is a primary indicator of a company's future success. Quality, of product or service leads to satisfaction, which leads to purchase intention, which leads to higher current and future sales revenues. Many firms have many incentives to increase customer satisfaction, and the deliberation without attention effect suggests that one way they can do so is by facilitating conscious thought about simple choices and unconscious thought about complex choices. So let's look at some examples of whether or not they're doing that. We'll start with some simple choices. We'll start with gasoline. So this price sign that everybody's seen before is a great example of facilitating a conscious thought about a very simple choice. For all we know, gas is pretty much the same wherever you get it. So you just they put the price right out there in big bright letters, and that facilitates quick, conscious thought as I'm driving down the road about the only factor that really matters to me, which is the price. Except when they're not. This has been a recent thing in the news, that they have this this fine print where it says that it's the cash price, and then you actually go and use your card, and it turns out that it costs a few cents more. I know I've experienced this personally, and it has led to some negative post-choice satisfaction, since the information that they provided wasn't accurate. Although I don't remember which gas station that happened at, so I guess it must not have been that important to me. Another example is deck furniture at Home Depot. This is, again, from my personal life. So the prices are all generally kind of about the same, depending on, how many chairs and the size of the table and all that kind of stuff. The color options, there's a lot of color options, but I already know what I want. What I really need to know when I go to Home Depot is the proportions and really how comfortable these chairs are, deck furniture is to sit in. But they're in boxes on the shelves. There's like one option that's actually out there set up, and there's 40 other options that are in these boxes. I don't know what a 17-inch seat height feels like. That's what it says on the box. A seat height of 17 inches. Okay, that's great. I don't know I don't know what that feels like, and I can't figure it out because it's locked up in that box. Same goes for a lot of the hammocks and a bunch of the other chairs. Ashley's Furniture knows that I need to sit in it in order to make a decision. Home Depot is making this harder than it has to be, and while I'm standing there in Home Depot, I'm already contemplating how difficult it's going to be to schlep this thing back to the store to return it, if it does indeed turn out not to be comfortable and not what I want. For some more complex choices, mattresses, there may not be very many relevant factors in the purchase decision, price and comfort, I assume, but there are certainly a lot of options. That's an awfully big store with an awful lot of mattresses, and they all are white, so it's hard to discern between them, and it's also not a lot of fun to kind of have the pressure of making your decision while you're standing in here under the fluorescent lighting. Casper, a new online mattress shopping company that will ship a mattress to you in a box, literally encourages you to sleep on this question for 100 days before finalizing your purchase decision.
It takes great sleep to live a great life. So Casper created one perfect mattress. It ships free in a big box. Try it at home for 100 nights and see. You'll sleep better, dream better, and live better. Upgrade your mattress at Casper.com.
So this appeals to consumers just intuitively by allowing them to perceive that there is no risk in this purchasing decision. I'll just return it if I don't like it. And in fact, their site says they'll even come pick it up from your house. They'll pick it up themselves. You don't even have to figure out a way to get it back into the box. Finally, the last example, and sort of a bonus example, instead of providing time, this is an example of making the complex simple. So Autotrader.com recognizes that the overwhelming complexity many people face when considering a new car buying decision. But rather than attempting to extend the amount of time you have to make your decision, because they don't really have any influence over that, either you need a new car this weekend or you're just shopping around, they add value by helping you make the complex simple.
We need a car?
A minivan.
No.
An SUV.
With leather.
Blue.
Green.
Bluish green.
Welcome to Autotrader.com. With 1.5 million used cars updated daily, it's the biggest, best used car site on the planet.
Now we need insurance.
And a loan.
Autotrader.com. Your car is waiting.
So their commercial makes literal the process of simplification that they provide by showing you the process of narrowing down that happens as you use their site to select the features that matter the most to you. So thank you all very much for watching. I look forward to seeing your comments and answering your questions.